Welcome to our session about a work in progress. We hope you enjoy this recording before we give our presentation on December 3rd. And we will at that time be able to talk about the presentation with you and answer any questions that you might have. I'm Deborah Swain, and my partner researcher is Patrick Rowan. We're both at North Carolina Central University in the School of Library and Information Sciences. We welcome you to the International Conference on Knowledge Management. We're here in Durham, but we hope you enjoy your visit here with us in terms of virtual attendance. Our topic is applying tacit knowledge and the SECI model, or SECI model, as an educational pedagogy. It is a work in progress.
All right, what we're talking about today is tacit knowledge, which is implicit knowledge and is more difficult than explicit knowledge to describe or transfer to another person in writing or orally. Our proposed research will explore student efforts to convert tacit knowledge into explicit knowledge during graduate courses when doing problem solving and creative work. So our research question, based on the original research of Nonaka and Takeuchi, who developed the SECI model, we'll show you that model and talk about it in a minute, is do student learning efforts demonstrate the SECI model? So here's the SECI model. And we're talking again here about knowledge conversions, how knowledge interacts with knowledge to produce other or new knowledge or information. So up in the upper left quadrant, you see socialization, which represents tacit to tacit conversions. Here, knowledge is learned and remains as a form of subconscious skill or know-how. We might say art is more here than science. Knowledge is passed in this case through imitation, practice, guidance, and observation, such as in instances of traditional apprenticeship. A good example is when a junior chef studies the skills of a master baker. When a junior carpenter is guided in the techniques of cabinet making, or a young blacksmith learns the art of sword making from a master sword maker. Learning can even then occur through ritual. The apprentice learns the unwritten skills of how something is done with excellence or artisanship, which is difficult to actually describe or put into words. This is socialization. Next, you see externalization. Here we're talking about tacit to explicit knowledge transformations. This is deemed as a particularly difficult knowledge conversion to describe when art, know-how, or unspoken knowledge becomes a known thing that can be understood and transmitted. Here, the unwritten becomes expressed in tangible form or is externalized. Tacit to explicit, an important conversion in which tacit knowledge is codified into documents, written down in manuals, things which are readily shared, usable, interpretable, and understood. The next phase is combination, explicit to explicit. This is the simplest form of knowledge conversion. New knowledge is rarely produced here. Codified knowledge is knowledge written down, such as books and documents. Here, knowledge is simply combined to create new knowledge. For example, you might take the contents of one book and add it to another, to the third book, a wonderful way to transmit knowledge, but practically no new knowledge is produced. The next phase, and the final phase we'll talk about today, is internalization, explicit to tacit. Here, new knowledge can be produced as written explicit sources are experienced over time by a knowledge catechumen or apprentice who can gain wisdom and a deeper understanding of the meaning of the words of instruction. Then thereby knowledge is internalized or absorbed, modifying the user's existing tacit knowledge and adding to it. If a person follows a set of instructions or directions with the guidance of a master, at some point in time, they can become a master too. So that is the final stage of internalization. I'm turning it over to my partner, Dr. Swain.
In terms of looking at the SECI model, business and management studies have been done for over 25 years, but there's little research on the application of the SECI model to the importance of tacit knowledge in learning. There has been some research on design studies when students in design school have done work, and a little bit on smart tutoring systems, but there's a lot of space for us to look at. So our proposed methodology is a semi-structured interview that we will use and vary, but we'll first show it to our students to find out if they're aware of tacit knowledge related to the management of information systems or a library, the course that they may be in. Midway through the experience of the course, we're going to also have another structured interview session and ask students if they've gone through any of the conversions. Are they learning during socialization as part of the class to begin with? Did they have externalization of their ideas and assignments where they documented and codified the facts that they had and the knowledge? Are there efforts to combine different versions of the explicit knowledge? And finally, do they internalize any new ideas that's based on tacit knowledge that they've come up with? At the end of the semester, the students will also respond again in summary to a different form of structured and semi-structured interview questions in a focus group. We hope the final data analysis can be collected and shown in a visualization like a dashboard to show where there was both the tacit and the explicit knowledge and the SECI model conversions. With the pilot study, we aim first to show that examining the SECI model as an educational pedagogy can work. And secondly, we can estimate the importance of tacit and explicit knowledge conversion when students are doing problem solving and creative work. We're assuming these conclusions, that the model will support the thesis that explicit knowledge without tacit insight quickly loses its meaning. Knowledge is created through the interactions between tacit and explicit knowledge, and not from either tacit or explicit knowledge alone. Descriptive statistics and qualitative analyses, we hope, will reveal that the SECI model can be used to analyze how innovation can occur in graduate level studies. We also think by collecting the data that we'll have examples of creative and innovative work from students in accordance with the SECI model, and that the model can be used, since it comes from the field of knowledge, it can be used in education as a pedagogical approach to conceptualizing learning and education to encourage problem solving and creativity. We do not think that people learn or humans learn like machines learn. Cognitive learning issues for adults might be addressed, though, in future research on education. So we're looking forward to following up, and we hope we've inspired you to think about different aspects of tacit and explicit knowledge and the SECI model. We will see you on December 3rd in session 3 for a helpful question and answer period. Thank you for participating in the ICKM.